intro song goes in, we just kind of shoot the shit for a minute.
Yeah.
Eric's
Get it?
rap
Get the
acumen.
reference?
He stops at, 1999 with raps?
That's when rap stopped.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I found my campaign song now.
Yes.
That other voice you're hearing is Topher Morrison, right? Morrissey?
Morrison. Whatever you want to call me.
You should have done Morrissey now. Right.
Yeah.
This whole fucking episode's done.
He's got to redo a bunch of marketing materials if that's the case. Whole lot. Paint the new bus.
Let's see. Let's do our sponsors real quick. If you need a business phone line, try grasshopper.com/sweat. Get the hookup. Holler if you hear me.
Use Grasshopper.
Do
I
you
love
really?
Grasshopper. You bet. Our whole company
Cancel
has
your
it.
subscription and then restart
Reskill
it.
it with
Put
yours?
that URL in.
Yeah.
And you'll get. I think you get $50 off every line. Which ain't nothing, you know. But that's a great plug because you're a scalable team, right?
Yes, we are.
After the whole thing's done, after the whole campaign's done, you may have reduced the number or you may increase the number, so you can scalable, huh? What happened to the music?
I tried to do a nice soft out, and I'm incapable apparently because it happens every time.
Well, then we'll just
don't wanna
really get the show
you want-
started.
it's still going.
I have to do our initiation of the episode.
No, you don't have to do it ever. You don't have to do this.
Toddy, God Almighty, yeah.
All right, sorry. That was really loud.
I was going to say
Turn
that was
those down, but
that was deafening. By the way, it is only working in the left ear. You're right.
it's gonna. Yeah, I'll fiddle with it. I think it's just a chord going bad.
There's a
All right.
subplot.
I can listen in mono. It's not a
If
problem.
you're a regular listener, there's a subplot to this podcast that we fuck up the tech all the time. So
Literally every time.
there's always something wrong. If
Yeah.
any audio engineers want to consult us for free via Skype or something, we don't want to be in person with you because you probably smell bad. But
Right.
you know, roadies just smell bad. They got a lot of fun going on. But
All about the sound.
We don't know anything about. We just trial and error our way through it.
Just keep plugging plugs into holes until it starts to work.
I literally have a tantrum if someone messes with the mixer knobs because I don't know what they do.
So badly
We
wanna
just
grab the
literally
mixer
get it.
knobs
I take a picture
so
of it.
badly want to grab the mixer knobs.
I know.
Somehow I lose that picture every time. I've taken a picture of.
Such a much better podcast if we could get him to crack, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Have you done any podcasts?
I can crack them good.
You're running for mayor of Tampa, and we thought this would be a cool idea since we kind of have met a couple of times. I was recruited for your business, I think, by Jody at one point.
Probably.
And
yes.
then she sat. So explain what your business is, and I'll tell a story.
Okay, so the business outside of running for mayor.
Yes.
We have a leadership development company.
Well, it'll tell the story of why you're qualified to do
Yeah, I
it.
guess it'll give a little backstory, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah, so we're a leadership development firm, which is heavy on the personal branding. So what we do is we work with founders of small companies to help them develop their brand image, and then they can leverage that brand image to grow and scale their business based upon the simple concept the most influential people get the lion's share of the business. We've cracked the code on what makes somebody influential, so we help business owners to implement those 5 elements inside their business, and then the predicted is they'll make more money, have a lot more fun.
Yep.
And I got Jody, who at the time when you met her was probably my director of business development. She's actually taken a new position now.
3.5 years ago,
Yeah,
about just
yeah.
because that's when we started this. It was pretty soon after we started this firm/agency.
So
and
3.5 years ago, and you still haven't quite got the mixer set yet, but you're almost there.
it's one of those things where it's like, I could spend a lot of time doing this,
Yeah.
but as you know, owning a business, and Eric's now right in the middle of him and his wife have
In the
dentistry,
weeds.
and he's getting through those the teething stages of all the I laugh because I know
More like the breastfeeding stage.
I know the misery of just there's all this stuff that just comes out of nowhere for some reason, and it's so cathartic to laugh at his
At
misery.
other people's pains. It's very therapeutic.
because it
Yeah.
it never appears on the outside to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Like why you're stressed about all these administrative clerical things or whatever.
And that's why I changed the knobs to
Yeah.
piss him off and mess with him.
Yeah.
We
He
got
doesn't know I do it
we
until
got
now.
a passive aggressive game going on here.
That works.
But so I went to lunch with Jody, and I think after about 30 seconds of me probably slipping in a dick or fart joke, she was like, "I don't think you're a qualified candidate for the CEO program." I was like, "Yeah,
But
what
you'd
is
be
this?"
cool to hang out with.
I thought you wanted lunch. I didn't know what this is really about. So I was like, "Yeah, maybe in 20 years I'll be qualified. I don't know, but right now, no." I think I'd bring down. You ever seen The Simpsons where they talk about the cone of wherever Bart sits, everybody else gets worse. So I was like, if I was in a group therapy with other people, I'd bring them down to my level.
Common denominator lower down.
That's why we got to stay separate.
And you're running for mayor. So
as fast as I can.
Yeah. When is the voting date?
March 5th, 2019.
Okay.
And I cannot wait until after the midterm elections in November because I'm going to wake up to tons of phone calls from all of my friends going, "Hey, I didn't see your name on the ballot. Where was it?
What do you have to do? Get a percentage?
Or they'll
something?
be going, "Did you win? Did you
no,
win?" I'm like,
not.
it's not my election.
Right,
it's in March. Yeah.
Oh, right. See, I'm so dumb about this stuff. I don't.
Is there a different registration for local voting? Is there anything that we need to know?
No.
Before
if you're a registered voter, you're good to go.
I'll get my mail-in ballot.
Yep.
Here's what this podcast is good for. We don't know shit about voting or any of that. So we're going to ask all the dumb questions that everybody's too scared to ask.
Fine by me.
That is a good.
By the way,
that is a good dumb question.
You may call them dumb questions, but these are the questions I get every single day.
Right.
What else? What
I'm
other
playing a
FAQ?
character.
Yeah.
It's like a stupid guy character who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
We're playing improv.
Right. It's an improv game. The whole thing.
I either get that or I get ridiculous requests for what they want me to do once I become mayor.
Oh, really?
I'm creating a whole list of all sorts of things.
I've got a bit about it that I want to run for mayor just to do stuff. Let me run some material by you.
Yeah, no problem.
Here's
I might get some good campaign
Here's my only
ideas out of
platform
it.
is just urinals. We got to figure this out. We can't have urinals just be like this, just straight up and down, vertical, because you get splashback. That's all.
Right.
That's all I'm talking about.
Just
some
angle it,
regulation.
just a
An
15-degree angle.
Pythagorean theorem. That's
I don't
all.
think the mayor is the person to go to for that, though.
No. You didn't listen to your Freakonomics podcast episode that I sent beforehand about what mayors can do. Because they can actually do a lot of stuff. They have a lot of control.
Urinal angle control is clearly listed in our job.
I just wanted to sprinkle down and not get on my khakis because I go to brunch and it's embarrassing. I'm super white.
That's where you're wrong. Hey, you just got to stop wearing them khakis.
I'm a white dad. It's khakis all day, son. But with pleats.
Without getting too graphic into the pot, you can change the angle of your flow.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's
saying,
an
really
old
good
baseball
point.
injury,
Yep.
so I don't want to get into it. I'm trying to
Hard
keep
left
it.
turn.
Let's just say they called me Captain Hook in high school. I gotta
my campaign coordinator right now is going. He's losing the election right now,
Or
oh
winning
my
it.
God.
Or winning it.
No, your ability to deal with crazy people like us is, I think that'll shine through. If I can,
There we go.
I'm a good publicist like that.
I'm either going to show I'm good at dealing with crazy people like you, or I will reveal that I am one of the crazy people like you.
You need some guy. You need some. We're harmless, really, but I've never been arrested. Have you been arrested?
Never been arrested.
And I don't have a tattoo.
No tattoos.
Yeah, so
2 out of 3.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of that thing of like we just like to say a lot of provocative stuff,
Sure.
or try to get ideas out there on this podcast and kind of flesh them out. But it doesn't mean you're crazy by association. Someone could smear you.
I may be
and
crazy
cut
by acceptance. We'll see.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm
I mean,
cool with
look,
it. I'm down with
everybody
that.
who lives in Tampa Bay has a little crazy. So
It's the humidity.
it's a second chance city for a lot of people. They moved down here because they messed up somewhere else. They got on opiates. They're trying to start their life over. They're living with mom that moved down here from New York, and they're getting their life together. That's what look. That's American. If I have to get on a jag about it, America's all about second chances. It's all about forgiveness. We're going to lash you when it happens, but we're going to let you redeem yourself. Tampa is the index city of the country, so the population is the closest city population, like percentage breakdown, demographics to the country.
It is. We are a microcosm of America.
Right. We are I tell people
That's why
you can rag on
franchising-
Tampa. We are America.
Here.
Yeah.
That's why franchising actually is such a successful thing here. That's why we've started more franchises in Tampa than anywhere else in the country.
Yep.
Because they feel that if it works in Tampa, it'll work in the country.
Right.
Good
So
test market.
Outback, Checkers, Carrabba's. I'm trying to think of the big
It could be a
guys.
whole podcast
Hooters.
just naming them.
Hooters, yeah. All the classy establishments.
Yeah. Yeah, let's leave Hooters out, actually. My bad. I'll edit that
Hey,
right
John
out.
Gruden worked there, man. It's all right. Could you imagine John Gruden being a cook for you at a Hooters?
Yeah, you might be
Here
going
it
back to
comes.
it soon.
Sluggo, X right, hit you with some wings.
It's a horrible Gruden impression.
I couldn't get my Ohio in.
Just
All
the
right.
audio. The visual was spot on.
Yeah, I'll focus. My ADD's out of control right now. So why do you want to be mayor?
Well,
What's your why?
Well, my why is this, and this is going to really be boring after we're trying to be funny, but
I'll sprinkle in some.
Contribution has been the highest value of mine since I don't know when. When I was young, it always wanted to be the class clown and contribute by making people laugh. Then I got into music, and then I got into speaking, and it's just always been there. And this is, I think, the next iteration of how I feel I can contribute to a society in the greatest level. And I've got a vision for this city that nobody else, I think, has the courage to go for, and so I'm going for it.
Hit us with that vision. What's like? You got like you can change it up.
Yeah, sure.
30, 60, 90.
Yeah, no.
Or like
here's the deal.
A vision for your whole term.
Yeah, that's fine. So when you think of cities of influence and power, ones that are economically strong, ones that can go up and down through the tides, all of them share one main common thing, and they have a strong sense of identity. Every city of influence has this one thing that every citizen can stand shoulder to shoulder and say, this is who we are. This is what we're about. This is what we're known for. And if you look even in our state, you look at our cities, Orlando's got the mouse. Daytona's got the NASCAR. Miami's got the spring break capital of the world. St. Pete's got the arts. Clearwater's got the beaches. Tallahassee's got the Capitol. What does Tampa have?
America. No,
Pirate ships.
We're an amalgam of America. That doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, there's no set answer there that's as quick to respond. And I will tell you that if people can come up with something, they're usually going to come up with one of three, which is strippers, cigars, or Gasparilla.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're sponsored by Stripper Cigars and Gasparilla. Go to try Strippers, Cigars, and Gasparilla. No, I would say, I've always said Tampa's. I'm born and raised here.
Mm-hmm.
Eric as well.
Samesies.
And I've always said, and I've said this on stage too, is like Tampa's identity is it doesn't have an identity.
Yeah. And that seems to be the collective, like people are like, man, I don't know. It's a great question.
We got military here.
Yeah.
We've got
We got
Italian, Cuban
Yeah.
roots. It's got more history than it gets, kind of the respect for.
True.
Hence the name Tocobaga, which was the Indian tribe that was in the area before white guys took them out. But I would say I'm with you totally on that. There is no I'm kind of half joking when I say we should have one signature building in downtown to fit that skyline, and it should be a crow's nest. We should just go all pirate and just really go hard in the paint.
Yeah.
We're all about pirates. Everything.
That could work. Like
And
a
you know what?
Space Needle.
I actually wouldn't even be opposed to
Yeah,
that.
Space Needle, but
to do something.
a
We
crow's
gotta
nest.
pick something, right?
Yeah.
Now, the one challenge, I think we can rule. Here's the thing: we can probably rule out from a city. I think strippers. Not that I have a problem at all with that. I think it's a fine way to make a living. I have no issue with it whatsoever. Probably not the best brand for our city.
divisive.
Yeah. Cigars, we may think that we're the cigar capital of the world, and by all rights of quantity, we probably are. But if you go outside of the city of Tampa and you ask anybody about cigars, they're going to think Cuba. Cuba owns that brand. We don't.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
Right? And that leaves us with Gasparilla. And the only challenge with that is that you can't build an economy on a 2-week party.
Yeah,
New Orleans realized that. So what did? They recruited the best culinary chefs in America to create the culinary capital of America to complement their 2-week party.
I see where we're going.
Rio
Gasparilla all the time.
Right. Rio didn't do anything. Right. They just have Carnival, and that's why they're bankrupt. Right. So
I'm a xenophobe. I don't know anything about any other country.
That's fine. Well, we don't need to mimic Rio. We need to mimic what New Orleans has done and have something that complements that. And here's my image, or here's my vision. I want to create the rooftop city. Any good brand can be summed up in 2 to 3 words. So when a visitor comes to that city and says, what do I need to see while I'm here? A cabbie better have an answer, and it better be in 2 or 3 words. What do I need to see when I get here? Oh, you need to go see the Eiffel Tower. Done. Right?
Yeah.
Or the Sydney Opera House. Done. Or the Empire State Building. Right? So it can be a landscape or a crow's nest building. Right?
Yeah.
That's cool by me. But when you say rooftop city, people get it immediately. More experiences up on our rooftops than any other city on the planet. Celebrates our outdoor culture, appeals to an anthropological desire to get up high and look out over views, and it's cool. And it's also something that no other city owns the image to.
I'm with you. In my head, I visualize that Michelob Ultra commercial of those really
Get done running up the stairs. Ooh, give me a
incredibly
beer.
fit and attractive people that I've never seen grouped together in real life.
Yes.
With Edison light bulbs.
Maybe at a 13 Ugly Men party.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the 13 Ugly Men?
I don't
I know
know.
of it. I just
Topher, you're making me feel really uncool.
Dude, I'm not cool enough to go. I've
You're
never
the man
been
about
myself.
town. I feel like I bet there's so many events, and you're not going to say them, but like there's so many things you got to go to just to be there and be present, and 90% showing up and all that.
Oh,
and like
drinking events from a fire hose right now. It's what 2-3 events a night, usually. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and shoehorning this in because we're so professional here. But you got your work cut out for you with the Rooftop City stuff because that's another big pet peeve of mine with this city. Our downtown isn't real. Our downtown looks like The Dark Knight Rises, where they shut down the whole city. Sometimes, like if you go there,
there's
on
nothing
Saturday
going
or
on
Sunday,
down there.
There's nothing going on. It's slowly building. There's a lot of new buildings coming up, so that'll take care of itself. But
I just think of The Punisher when they filmed that here, and they turned the beer can building into like a place to be, and it was
building,
like, oh, okay, well, I guess they just didn't
you
really.
mean Sinners and Saints?
What?
They called it Sinners and Saints after Howard Saint.
What are you talking? I'm talking about the first Punisher movie.
Yeah, that's the Punisher.
Oh, they called the place they were at Sinners and Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, deep pull. I didn't know that.
It's one of my favorite
Yeah,
movies.
I do
Miss
like
me on
the
that
movie.
one.
Yeah.
All right, the Rooftop City, literally like my favorite bar. I guess just closed down. Fly Bar downtown.
Yeah.
We're in Ybor, which should have more. I'm with you. There's and that's just bad real estate to me, like bad utility. If you own that building, I would use the Rooftop if I owned a building just to get more square footage out of it somehow.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with some of the codes, which would need to be updated to where people are allowed to use them. And we've also got to make sure that they're ADA compliant. So there's some financial blockages right now that prevent that. But I've actually tied that into some of the economic strategies because one of the things we could do, people talk about trying to become an innovative city. And that's a lot of the leaders in Tampa right now are saying, well, we want to become the innovative city. I'm like, man, do you know how hard of a battle that is? Like, that's
we want
harder
to be
than
the
becoming a
attractive
rooftop.
city.
Well, the innovative city, think about how much money you would have to inject into your infrastructure and everything to stay relevant and current and truly innovative. Otherwise, in 5 years, you end up looking like Tomorrowland at Disney World, right?
Yep.
It just becomes a cliche or a joke. It's really expensive.
And unless you have like something like Austin really benefits from University of Texas. I think we benefit from USF. I think we are
and
on
UT.
UT. We're on the vanguard with the health tech. I think is very underrated. What they're doing with like robotic surgery, remote. That's really cool stuff. Yeah. It's not sexy for everyday people because it's not. I mean,
but there's money in it.
No, there's money for sure.
Yeah.
And we got old people to test on everywhere here. But it's a petri dish of old people. But I would say, the innovative city. I'm with you on that. Like I always go, be a blue city in a red state. Like Denver, Seattle, not Seattle really, but
no, it is. That's a blue city in a red state for sure.
Well,
is
Austin,
it red?
You just said Austin.
Everything outside of
Outside
Seattle.
of Seattle.
Yeah. Some guys wanted to fight me after a show. They're on the other side of Rainier
W
Mountain.
Spokane.
It was in Seattle, but these guys were from the outskirts.
You just get over the Cascades.
Yeah.
It's a totally different world. I was born in Spokane, Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
nice.
Very familiar.
I
want to
go up there.
Culture.
Gonzaga.
So green.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done shows up there, Coeur d'Alene, in Idaho, about 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
I've been all over this great country of ours.
I'm sure where those guys lived had to do with why they didn't like your stand-up. That's probably why.
I may have said some disparaging things to their table.
Could have been the ponytail.
Yeah.
Well, we prefer to call it man bun.
Sorry.
And,
Could have been the man bun.
In
fact, definitely was the man bun, by the way.
I did. No, I let it all hang out on
you?
stage. Yeah. The ladies like it long. They want, but I'm in business mode now, and I prefer to go for the samurai look. That's what I'm going for.
Is that it? Oh, okay, cool. I think you need to have a sword in order for that thing to really.
Oh, you don't think I got
well.
one on me? I'm packing.
All right,
this is my
brother.
office. This is my dojo. No, but
just wear a gi everywhere you go.
Look, I like the
Underneath.
Dude, I'm pretty
Don't
close.
walk down the street to a kata as you go down the street.
I'm pretty close. I just need to get a towel and so that weird belt that you can only get with a robe.
Yeah.
Rooftop City sounds practical. It sounds pragmatic. I like that. I like things that are just like, hey, we're not going to be, we need to have that signature in your experience branding personal brands, which
Exactly.
eventually really you're also branding a lot of their business, indirectly because everything starts at the top usually with that kind of stuff. Your experience with that definitely would shine through as far as like, hey, I've looked at it. Here's where we can differentiate ourselves. Here's something that it keeps us in the pocket. It's not too like, hey, we're going to be like this. We're going to be the dynamic city. Like that's way too far one way.
Yeah.
And you're not doing something that's like, hey, cigar box city, it's not too low self-esteem. It's right in the middle. We're talking
We're
about
not
the
shooting
sweet
too
spot.
high. We're not shooting too low. We're in that Goldilocks
It's reason.
spot.
Look, this show is supposed to really be pragmatic business advice, and
Is that what this is about?
and blue humor.
wow.
And
yeah.
dick jokes. I really liked how you said contribute when you're talking about doing when you were younger, you called it contributing,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
music contribute. Did you come up with that?
Yeah.
I
don't know if I came up with it, but that's
I don't
how
know.
I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, I just really like because he and I are like we were saying.
Yeah, think about it. When you do comedy, aren't you contributing? Right? I mean, you there's a certain level of joy you get when you get up on that stage and you're seeing those people laugh and
Yeah.
you're making them happy for a moment in time. They're forgetting all of their problems and they're just in the moment going, "Man, this is funny." And that's contribution, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It is. It's just hard. It's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
feel that way, and it's something we battle all the time.
Well,
I
this
really
show's
like that.
like that. I mean, I do feel it is a contribution. It kind of started because we got a lot of questions for digital, stuff that you keep getting over and over. And it's like, well, let's use this platform that's
Right.
low barrier to entry,
Mhm.
which maybe you should be doing one that's a serialized one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pitch it to you. But it is contributing in the way that we're now getting this cool kind of feedback from people that are like, hey, I did that thing y'all talked about like a month ago to find stock photos or something.
Right.
These are very small but practical things people can do to try to get their own hustle side business going,
Got it.
while they're doing the shitty.
So sometime, but by the end of this talk, we should probably give away at least one business tip or something, probably. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, through interviews, people gain a lot of that stuff.
It's
Like,
a good tip to know what your plans are if you were elected. That he's going to be looking at rooftop stuff. Do I have a roof? Can I
By the way, that's not just a downtown thing either. I think we should be incentivizing residents to put some type of rooftop experience on their homes as well. I don't care if it's a solar panel or an urban garden, something like that.
Oh, so you're
Right,
going.
yeah.
So you got more than just like, hey, let's not Michelob Ultra commercial for a
Correct.
rooftop.
Yeah, no, I want the culture to embrace this and start using. Like, do you know that our state, the Sunshine State, has less solar panels than any other state?
Oh,
So
that makes me sick.
We hate that.
It's
We do
ridiculous.
know that, and
Yeah.
it drives us nuts. Why is there like a weird regulation on that? Is it like California where like they don't really hook you up? They make it hard.
They make it hard. Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
energy
can't-
companies
yeah,
control?
correct, yeah. Like right here in Tampa, it's TECO. You can't sell back your excess energy to them. But
Yeah.
they'll take it, and then they'll sell it.
That's counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Isn't
And
it?
it's utilities.
You
So
can
it should be
have,
the people.
You can have solar panels on your house.
Yeah.
Power outage goes out from a hurricane.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to power your house.
Yeah. So
Wow.
Yeah, unless you have battery backup
like the
storage, like
Tesla
a Tesla
wall
ba-
thing.
Yeah,
God, I want
yeah.
that so
you
bad.
can't. You have to wait till TECO gets everything because everything is run through TECO.
But innovation, necessity breeds innovation. I already know people a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a good handful of people that are just going, "Hey, I'm off the grid. I don't need them."
Yeah.
I taught myself with YouTube
Mm-hmm.
how to do this. Like, I've got a battery backup. I'm not having another Irma situation
Mm-hmm.
and worrying about that. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I had the gumption and some side cheddar to do that, because that's a good $10,000 probably to hook up at least.
For a solar panel?
Solar panel and backup
more.
battery.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they got the new roofs, Tesla roof,
Right,
with
the
the
tiles.
tiles. Those
All
things, they
those
look
Tesla
great,
tiles
and
are
they're
so
just
cool.
as. I
But
mean,
we're
it's like a new roof.
And we're
cost.
supposed to be a deregulated state. That's what's frustrating. I get California because California taxes the shit out of everything, but here it should be. I don't know. It just feels like it's part of that no identity thing because we have so many transient people. It's really hard to be loyal to the game because I feel there is like 10 to 20% of the people in Florida are that aren't retirees. They're just making their way through here. This is a stop on the way to somewhere else.
But I think the reason why it's just a stop on the way to somebody else because we don't have an identity for them to embrace while they're here.
I think that's a little bit of it. Yeah. I think
I think it's also why we lose a lot of people to St. Pete because they see the identity over there and they're like, I want to have a sense of identity. I want to have this thing that you can't touch, taste, or feel, but it's a very tangible feeling. There's a lot of write up on this. There's a local guy named Peter Kageyama who wrote a book called For the Love of Cities.
Yeah.
It's a great book if you're into urban development. Like
I am.
Kind of weird.
I actually nerd out on
Yeah.
this stuff. I like this
Me
stuff.
too, man.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic book.
I think the stadium down here in Ybor, I think that would galvanize a dead spot that right now was the Tico building, I think.
Yeah.
Area.
I do too. I love the idea of it coming here.
And people keep
Me too.
ragging on like, well, this is what I hate. When people are like, what are you going to do about parking and like traffic and stuff? I was like, What's the solution now?
Figure
What
it
are you
out.
doing
Right.
now?
It's
Like,
figure it out.
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
and like someone will figure out how to route better Ubers and Lyft. We'll have that going. We're going to be in the ride-sharing kind of era.
maybe mass transportation
Yeah.
gets brought down
Maybe
there somehow.
you meet at the Brandon Mall, which is, if you're outside of this area, that's like a suburb town. That's, a sleepy suburb town, probably like 7 miles away from downtown here. You can have a bus go back and forth all day.
Yeah.
Start at the mall, the big ass mall they have there. People can park there, and then they can take that bus over here. It's not that hard. I just hate people that go, what are you gonna? It's gonna be so congested.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
But
not gonna go to a game. You were gonna go to a game anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
The one thing I've learned, though, especially running for office, people love to tell you why stuff won't work.
yeah.
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
them feel good.
Yeah. If it's an opinion that they got an advantage on you, when it's like someone correcting the way you say a word.
Yeah.
You're like, they're really, like, most people, if you don't know them like my mom can do it. She can do it to me all the time.
Yeah.
But if it's someone I just met that's like, it's divisive, and you're like, okay, you need a power
That's a really weird way to say divisive.
or niche instead of niche or whatever.
I mess that one up all the time.
You didn't mess it up because you can say it both ways.
I've just never heard it that way.
But the people that have the goal to correct you is that is a muscle.
But now, what if it's an actual wrong word, like irregardless? Does that drive you crazy?
Yes.
You just let it fly?
I usually let it fly, and I know what they're trying to say.
See, for me, I'm that guy that
not
loves to
gonna
jump in and go, that ain't a word, dude. But
yeah.
now running for office, I have to learn to just shut up.
Well, now, if they chew on me,
Yeah.
Do you though?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, once you get elected, then you
yeah.
can
You're
be
not going to be
about
winning
it.
votes by telling people how to pronounce words.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Win my vote if I saw you do it. I'd be like, that's my guy.
It's vote.
So that
My vote.
so that's another thing is like communication. I feel like there's a lack of local government communication. Do you have any kind of ideas in that? A better way to get
Yeah.
Because if you want to brand the city and you want to kind of form an identity, people always think of branding as like a logo and the actual design identity. That's one aspect of it.
That's a small piece of it, right? Yeah.
Message is
Yeah.
the biggest part.
Yeah.
And we talk about it here. So
And consistency,
right,
repetition,
frequency.
driving. Yeah.
So we talk about it here because we get a lot of startups or what I call like immature businesses under 5 years.
Yeah.
And so I go through the basics with them most of the time. I'll go, okay, let's go through the basics of branding. It's going to be half of it's going to be your identity, half of it's going to be your message. And they're like, I don't get it. And you're like, okay, well, you're going to have a message, your externally message, who you are, what you do, why you're better.
Yeah.
How do I book you or how do I buy this? And like what's what are you about? What's your why? All that stuff.
Right.
What's your slogan? And then you have the internal message to your company. Here's how we do things here. Here's how Chick-fil-A gets the most out of $12 employees.
Yeah.
They crush it on profit
They do it
margin
better than anyone.
because they put a lot of emphasis in training. They don't. You can't get them to say what. You're welcome.
My pleasure.
It'll be my
That's what they
pleasure every
say.
time.
Oh, really?
And that's your tell. Yeah.
Interesting.
Try it. You
Yeah.
can't get them to do it.
Interesting.
It's Scientology tight. It's like
Right, yeah.
I've tried. I'm like, come on, say it.
I know.
Say you're welcome.
And we've never even talked about that, and I know exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've been like, wow.
See, I don't eat there enough to know that, but I've eaten there enough to know that the customer
You're a
service
PDQ
is
guy.
outstanding.
Yeah.
You keep it local with PDQ. Yeah, they're giving them a run.
Are they local?
They started here. Yeah.
No.
Didn't they?
I don't know.
I think they did. They were like, hey, Chick-fil-A needs a Pepsi, so to their Coke, so we're just gonna fill that second banana roll. Yeah, I think that's important. How do you communicate this throughout? And you have digital kind of background too, from what I remember.
I know enough about digital to sound smart in front of people
You can
who
manage
know nothing.
it. You can manage people.
But I know
that do
enough
it.
to sound really stupid in front of people like you who know a lot more.
You'd be surprised.
No, we always talk about we don't know everything about the internet's so vast, it's infinite. So
I've heard it's a lot of tubes.
it's a lot. There actually
A
is
lot of
fibers
tubing
around
and
the world.
wires and
Yeah.
But we tell people straight up we don't know everything, but we're pretty good at figuring out whatever problem it is for them. We've gotten good at that.
we're good
skill.
Googlers.
I was going to say, because you can Google that.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube video for everything now.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't even know how to Google something.
It's harder than it sounds.
I was like, what's that wood thing you put in your
thing-
shoe
yeah.
to get it to the integrity of the shoes kept intact for your like business suit shoes? Like, And they're like, a shoehorn? I'm like, yeah, but and I couldn't even Google it.
Wow, I wasn't even. I was looking at the inside of a shoe.
I didn't know what
the
the
You know, it's like
I didn't know where
it's like
you
a
were
fake,
going
it's like a
with that
fake
Dutch
foot
shoes.
that you put in
Talking
your
about.
business shoes, business.
My business shoes? What are my business shoes?
You know what I mean, like your classy shoes. Your
I don't have. These are mine.
Do you have shoes with laces?
yeah,
Yeah.
Joseph A. Banks.
That'll
You
be
probably
your
have
business shoes.
some suit from there.
I'll bet you they got a sale going on right now.
2 for 1.
Yeah. When they acquired Burlington, it was game on.
Yeah.
So what is the what is the communication effort? Do you have any kind of ideas with that? It's
As far as the branding or
well,
the
you're
city
a good,
itself?
You're a good speaker.
Yeah.
I would say the mayor should have his own podcast, and
I would agree.
you can.
I want to have a live stream cam in my office.
Yeah.
So anytime, any part of the day, people can go to the website and just log in and see what I'm doing.
I love that.
It just reminded me
I
of an
love
idea.
that.
I want to do a town hall.
And you know what? I've said that to other politicians, and they go, "You can't do that. No work will ever get done because nobody's going to want to be on the camera." I'm like, "That's the problem.
That's
Right.
the thing.
That's the problem. Is we don't have enough transparency, and all there's this backdoor crap going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Special. Oh, here's. I don't know what I did with that envelope. I'm leaving it here for you, kind of crap. And I want to break through all that stuff. I plan on being as broke when I leave office as I am when I get in office.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
and
love that. You're getting me amped.
Part of that
I love that.
contributing effort from you personally, like you're doing it for the love of the game. Like you
I
don't
am.
get much.
I've got no financial hooks in me.
Yeah,
man.
you
Trust
don't
me.
get
You
much
can
out
look
of
at
it.
you can go online and look at the campaigns. And they're
The
all out
ROI
earning
is
me.
not very high on this as far as like your bank account.
No.
You know, but you know, it is one of those things where do you look at it like civic duty, kind of like
Yeah,
Warren Buffett's
I'll tell you.
thing.
Here's how I look at it. I was raised with the notion that the 2 greatest titles you could ever earn would be military vet or public servant.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think at some point in time in all of our lives, we need to experience one of those two. Some people, God bless them, have experienced both. I never joined the military. I've got relatives that have. My father's a vet, and I thank them so much because they have more courage in their pinky than I got in my whole body.
Always feel inferior.
For people to do that,
them.
man. I mean, I'm blown away
Yeah.
at people that are willing to put down their life to protect my freedom, and they don't even know who I am. That's pretty impressive, right? But second to that, public servant.
Yeah.
And I think it's and we get that in various ways. I'm not saying every single person should run for office either, but find a way to serve something greater than yourself.
Well, you as a private citizen, as like I kind of followed y'all since our failed lunch meeting with
Jody.
your employee. But I said this is an interesting thing. I didn't even know these kind of, you know, I didn't know a business like yours kind of existed. So I was like, I've been kind of following y'all over the years, you know, lightly, and it's like you're a private citizen that does give back publicly.
Yeah,
you know,
we
to
do.
the area.
Sure.
Before you even started doing this.
Yeah.
Maybe you had ideas of doing it, but like.
Yeah, I think.
But you can do a lot as a private citizen. is
Sure,
what I'm saying.
absolutely. I mean, every if you look at some of the most successful businesses nowadays, they have some social entrepreneurship, social contribution. Some arm of their business is doing some sort of give back.
We call it benevolence.
benevolence. I love that.
I call it. I made it.
the
up.
business.
I love that word.
Yeah,
actually,
that's actually,
You can use it.
You came up with
I
that?
might write a book about that.
Do
right
it.
now. That's
It's
kinda
called
cool.
corporate
Great.
social
Business
responsibility. Is
Corporate social
is
responsibility,
your
yes.
business school term? But
I like benevolence much more.
no, way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my rap name from now on.
What? Why would it be like-
Benevolence.
I thought yours
DJ
was Tampa
Biznevolence.
X.
It's white mayo, really. I'm so gross. I'm hot.
Now I'm
Hot
doing
mayo.
jokes from his act.
Yeah, Tampa X. That's my rap name. Get it?
All right.
Tampa X. Anyone? All right. No,
Do you
not
need
a lot
a-
of.
do you
See,
need
that
a
was
beer
more of a
to
visual.
drink your
That was
beer
more
with?
of a visual
Yeah,
one. I need to spell
I need
it
my
out
beer
get
to
it.
Ron White it and give
Yeah.
a pregnant pause with a sip of beer. I see who figures out that joke, and I'm like, how's this crowd going to be? That's my divisive joke to figure out which way this crowd's
Nothing
going to
wrong
go.
with the way you said that either.
I was
Doesn't
going to
bother
say,
me
you know,
at
he
all.
may be annoyed by people correcting him, but he's trained now to say that the right way, apparently.
No,
Yeah.
man. I mean, you know
By
how
the
it
way,
is.
I just
People
learned
come
it's
at you.
divisive. I always thought it was divisive.
I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I don't even know if that's the right one
I
or
could be
that's
getting
the
bad
wrong.
intel right now.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
what I was saying.
I'm going to get up there. We're going to do a debate. I'm going to say some comment like divisive, and then the whole crowd's going to go, it's divisive.
Not in
Or I'll say
Tampa.
it the other way.
Campaign.
We're not going to have that problem, I don't think. I think a town hall kind of podcast live stream thing, everything that's new is old. You ever heard that? Like,
Yeah.
So we always talk about digital. I always try to find the comparison to explain anything online to our clients, because that's kind of our brand is to really put client education and high-end client services first. in an era where the gap between online and offline is just crazy, right?
Right.
And there's no standardization. There's no like Florida bar for digital.
Oh, it's the wild, wild west.
So we have to
now.
kind of create
Yeah.
our own education on this. We're doing it slowly, but I would say what you're doing with a live stream and just maybe answering comments live, that's just a town hall.
Yeah, maybe
yeah.
once a week.
Yeah.
They don't have to be available all the time, but
I think that'd be
little
cool.
fireside
But I think
chat
I
sort
think
of
our
thing.
leaders of our city should be available all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're the one running, not me. I
So
mean,
what-
I get that
I mean,
they're humans.
that's a
They need to have a
subjective
minute
term all the
off, you know?
time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that brings me to
How about this? Instead of all the time, on a regularly presentable place.
Right.
Other than City Hall. It's just too easy to go, well, we're available. Just come down to City
Yeah,
Hall.
that's annoying.
Eh.
you can use video we use video to our advantage. We send one-way messages a lot to clients. Like, here's your analysis. Here's what's going on. We'll send a proposal. Hey, here's the proposal ahead of time. We'll meet you in 2 days. You have time to digest
You were
it.
talking about communication. Here's one thing. Have you ever heard of Mayor's Neighborhood University?
No.
Right. And every
Sounds like
citizen
Trump
should.
University.
Every citizen should know about this.
We
This
need
was
to
something-
rebrand the name, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little cumbersome.
This was something that was
Mayor Town.
implemented, I want to
Mayor
say 5 or 6, 7 years ago. I'm not exactly sure when. It is the coolest thing our city does. Mayor's Neighborhood University is free. You can apply. They take about 50 people at a time. And for about 6 months, every other week, you get a backstage tour of everything that the city does. So you understand how we remove our solid waste. You understand how the police force works, how the
No
fire works.
kidding.
You get tours of everything. They show you the financials, the numbers. You look
Really?
at everything. They take you up to the command center. Where
I
we,
smell a sweat equity field
It's-
trip
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. I'm down
I'm
for
telling you, it's incredible.
So
And you know what, though? Most people can never join that because they can't take time off of work to go. That needs to be on video. We should bring a camera crew around the next time we do a Mayor's Neighborhood University, film all that, and then have that available online. So if any city would like to know how it's going, because I tell you, you will appreciate this city 10 times more if you go through Mayor's Neighborhood University. You'll start to appreciate. You'll learn things like right now we're operating on a budget that is less than we had in 2007 before the financial crisis. How is this possible that we've done so much growth in our city? We've done so well. We've reduced our crime. We've done all these great things, and we've done it with less money than we had every year back in 2007. That's insane. This next year will be the first year that we actually have more money in our city budget than we've had since 2007.
and we're gonna put it in roads. We fucking love construction on road construction. What's the deal? Why like
Here's the
so
deal.
it used to
All
be,
for transportation, vote yes on All for Transportation. That's coming up in November.
Yeah, we also need a TurboTax kind of thing for all these bills because even though I'll
it's
earmark
already
it
been done. I'll tell you right
I'll
now.
earmark it before I go in, and then
Yeah.
I'll read it and go, oh shit, I don't know
what
if
the
I
hell
read
is
this.
this?
You
It's
know?
really messed up.
Go online and search for the League of Women Voters. They're a nonpartisan organization that's taken extensive knowledge in just giving you the coolest TurboTax version.
Wait, women can vote?
They've got a thumbs up and a thumbs down icon to make it real simple for simple. Yeah. And it just says if you vote yes, this is what it'll do. If you vote no, this is what it'll do. You make up your own mind.
I love
but
it.
It's so
See,
simple.
that's the advice. That's the pragmatic advice.
There it is.
you Came on to tell.
Yeah,
I mean
I'm
I always flustered, but not enough to go research it myself. But I'm always like, where is the transparency on where this tax money goes and what happens to it?
It's messed up.
The
They'll
Florida
have,
Lotto is the fucking worst, and it's like, where does that? It goes into our schools, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then how is that?
I don't know.
spent?
My kid's school's calling me literally every day about fundraisers. Like
buy
it's
lotto
insane.
tickets.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's another referendum. That's the Save Our Schools, and that's another 0.5% tax increase. Yes, on both, man. I know people don't like paying taxes, but here's my theory on taxes, by the way. People don't like paying taxes and not seeing where it
Yes.
goes.
Yeah.
Both of these initiatives show you exactly where the money goes. If you say yes on that 0.5% of increase on retail tax for schools, it's going directly into the schools themselves, putting these kids air conditioners to start working. Right now, most of our schools don't even have air conditioning, and they're not allowed to open their windows because of security issues, so they're sitting there in a sweat box.
That's the Florida version of grit. That's how you get grit,
That's
man.
how it toughens them up.
No, I think it goes to unions though too. That's the hard part.
This doesn't.
No, okay.
No. This goes specifically. It doesn't go in for salaries or labor. It's strictly in helping
Improvements.
improve the structures of the schools themselves. The retail, the 1% retail tax for transportation. What I love about, and by the way, on our first debate, I was still kind of up in the air on this one, and I said that there's two different plans we should look at. I've spoken now with the creators of both plans. I've done a lot of research on it, And I know enough to feel certain that All for Transportation is the best of the two plans for sure.
Okay.
It specifically, first off, it has a citizens oversight committee to make sure that the politicians aren't taking the money out and putting it in other places.
Okay.
It's specifically dedicated 45% of the money to HART, so they can spend that on whatever they need to make sure that our bus systems are actually working.
HART.
It's going to fill potholes and clean up roads and stuff like that. And none of it is for additional freeway lanes, which is excellent. So I'm 100% all for transportation.
Yeah, my thing is, we are the 18th biggest metropolis in the country, and we're like top 5 in traffic or something crazy like that. Like, I don't get it, but I see we like lead the league in wrong way drivers for a period.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of people that
Why?
are going on the wrong way on the
understand.
exit. I get people are checked out. I get it. Like, and I see a lot of people do the thing where you're behind them. You can see their heads pointing down at their phone.
You know
they're not looking at the red light.
Yeah.
If we could, like, focus on, like, hey, just try to be present while you're driving.
Yeah.
Click it or ticket.
Crazy
like,
idea.
Something like that.
Actually, look at the
Let's
road
speed
you're
it
on.
up. Let's, hey, steers it clears in left-hand lane. Getting in a wreck. People just chill in the middle wherever they got a wreck.
I know.
They don't
Getting
even,
what?
Getting in a car
in a
wreck. Yeah.
Okay.
People just don't know that it's not acceptable just to stay right where it happened because they're scared to do anything for insurance, I think. But also, like, there used to be a time where you'd move the car if you could to the side.
To the side, yeah.
Take some pictures. You can do it now with the phone.
It's pretty easy.
And then just move it off to the side. But people don't know that. Can we get a campaign going for that?
Do you guys have a heart out?
Yeah,
What's
I
the
mean,
situation
we're
here?
trying to keep you for about an hour.
Do we?
And we're almost
I don't
we're
know.
almost there.
I just want to make sure that
Yes, we do.
we're not
on the
overrunning.
business
Yeah,
on the business side, any practical advice, pragmatic advice you got? I don't.
Yeah.
I can filibuster if you need a minute.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, we do got to get rolling. But, probably the biggest one, especially for businesses that are in that startup stage, the one thing that we tell people all the time is that unless you're a key person of influence, your full-time job should be to becoming a key person of influence. So do the things that you need to do to position yourself in such a way where people consider you to be a thought expert in your industry, and your business will take care of itself. It'll be a much easier process.
I read the book
Yeah.
that y'all have, the KPI book.
Yeah.
So KPI is a metric, by the way. Acronyms are everywhere, so I just always try to. This I will correct or just further explain. KPI, key person of influence, that we just talked about. KPI, key performance indicator. That's on a metric analysis side. That's the quantitative
and
side.
And then KPI, key person of interest, you're a criminal, and the feds want you.
Yeah, and we can't end it in a better way, I think.
All right.
Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for
Dude,
taking
thank
the
you.
time.
This went fast. I want to come back.
Always
Come back
does.
on whenever
will.
you want. We've got, what, March is when you vote. And,
March 5th.
After the November stuff, why don't you come back on and tell us how that goes?
I'm disappointed we didn't get to talk about because I did my research.
Oh, yeah?
But
For
next time. Yeah.
Happy to.
When we guest on your podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll help you start it, man.
Cool, brother.
Do
See
it.
ya.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.